Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Researchers podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, and we have a good show tonight. My guests tonight are the owners of the Get Haunted. They do events. They also host their own podcasts on their own network. Please welcome my guests at this time, Rob and Sarah, the owners of Get Haunted. Hey, Rob. Hey, Sarah. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Russell.
Thank you. Hello.
How
So,
are you?
good. How are you guys?
Good.
Oh, we're good. We're good. Long day. Nice way to wrap up a Friday,
Yeah, definitely.
talking it out on the air. This is good.
Yeah,
Oh, look, Mark
Yeah,
Brown's here.
Hey, Mark.
everybody in the chat. Hey, Carol.
Hey, Carol.
Mark.
Hi.
So tell my audience that aren't familiar with you guys how Get Haunted got started and what you guys do. And
Oof. All right. How long is this show?
we're 2 hours, so
Right. All right. So, all right. Here's sort of the shortened, condensed version of it. Right. For a bunch of years, I worked with a company doing public events. But prior to that, in 08, I kind of really started my paranormal journey. Had a lot of weird things happening in the house after my dad passed away, mostly kind of centered around my kid. That got me, watching the shows and starting to question things. And this is a long story. That's a whole different show. Then I tried to build the team out. That didn't really work. It's really challenging to find people that want to work with you, all that fun stuff. For no other reason than it was like, hey, we got enough people, or you don't have enough experience, or whatever, or you're just too cool to work with us. Just joking. So then somehow I landed in an event company, and that's really what they were. Worked with them for a while, kind of cut my teeth, and I loved working with people on public events. It's just fun for me. And I know some people don't like public events. And that started out really, really good. And then a few years into it, it started to not be so good, right? It just wasn't liking it so much. I had some paranormal things going on top of that. But in 2019, I started Get Haunted solely as a merch company. I was making merch for that company and for some other businesses. It was kind of my side hustle, right? But I loved the name. It took me a while to land on the name. The original tagline was "Get Haunted" because everybody's haunted by something. But I had a vision in my head, but I was kind of occupied doing this. So eventually my time ended at that other company. I left. I took a break from the paranormal, and then in October of 2021, I missed it. I just missed going to locations, working with the public, especially people that were sort of new to the paranormal, right? Because it is very different, than what you see on television. So I said, to hell with it. I'm gonna do this, right? It's a big endeavor, especially hey Trev, hey Jenny, especially in October, right? If you're looking to book something for the following year, October is a tough time to start booking for that year. Somehow I managed to to land a bunch. Then in December of 21, somehow landed on Sarah's show, right? Sarah has a show called Paranormally Blonde. And, you know, the whole concept of Get Haunted was, you know, I looked around the paranormal field, which we all know is sort of it's a scary landscape sometimes. But I saw, you know, there were different types of people doing different things. We had lawyers over here. You've got graphic artists over here. You've got visual designers. You've got hardcore paranormal people, faith-based people, people that are sort of more universe dwellers, if you want to call it that. All these different people with different theories and notions and skill sets, all working in silos, just all by themselves over there, all by themselves over there, and not truly working together.
Right.
And the hope and the vision always is and always has been to bring those people together, to bring folks in to help each other. Sometimes we need a lawyer for stupid things, or we want to incorporate our business, or we want to trademark a logo. We need graphic designers to make that logo. We need graphic artists or video editors to put our intros together. So why are we all not working together? So I was hell bent on building a place, a community, a space for those people to get together and start working together. So I had, you know, I launched it, had, I don't know, maybe 50 people on the platform when I went on Sarah's show and started pitching it to Sarah and Dee Dee at the time. And it resonated, I think, especially with Sarah. So the conversation went really well. And honestly, back then, at least, I didn't love being on shows. I just didn't love it. So, you know, Sarah started participating in the network. I'll ever talk about that part, but you know, it wasn't a few.
You'll let me.
I'll allow her to speak today. I'm sorry, it's just a bad terminology. But eventually, I asked. She sent me a message and was like, "Hey, you kind of suck at social media. I'm going to take that over." And I was like, "Okay, blonde lady, let's see what you got." And then I just started flowing, and she was helping out more and more. And eventually, you know, a few months after that, I was like, "Look, I need you to help me run this business," because she had grown it that far. So, Sarah, I will allow you to speak now.
Thank you. Yeah, I think he landed on something there that I think
he has a name.
Rob. He landed on something there that I think many investigators, and you know, from the curious all the way to the seasoned, struggle with, and that is sort of finding others who will connect with them, that will work with them. I had done several public events, and I have a team with my sisters, and I'd always sort of, at these public events, we were always kind of off to the side. Like it never gelled. It never felt like that I mean, once in a while you'd find somebody that would talk to you, but everybody was grandstanding, or they wanted so much to have their voice heard that it was like you just didn't really get this chance to work. And then the people leading them, it was really just about watching them do their thing. So when Rob came on Paranormally Blonde back in December of 2021, it was exciting to hear the vision and his mission of what he really wanted to see in the community, which was really what my show was about. And that was about hearing all voices, because all of our voices matter in this community. It doesn't matter how much time you have in the field, because there are people that have never stepped foot necessarily in a haunted location, but have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge that they could share, but they didn't have a place to say it. And then there are those that are really seasoned, but maybe just never got the chance, or somebody didn't want to give them the chance. So I believe when Get Haunted and Paranormally Blonde sort of met that day, it was almost like a good avenue for both of us to say, okay, wait a minute, we can help each other here. We really can. He was talking about networking the way networking really should be, right? Not just a network, hey, Spetro, but actual networking. So yeah, I came on board and I worked behind the scenes for a long time. I feel like I wasn't looking to be the face of anything, or it was just really, Rob was really receptive to my ideas. We played off of each other really, really well. And it was just a natural, I think it was just a natural fit. I just think it was one of those things that I tried really hard for a while. He would say, like, I got to tell people you're helping me. Like it's got to come out eventually. And I'm like, it doesn't. And, now looking back, I wished we probably would have started it a little sooner, because that just turns into kind of a little bit of a mess. But the reality is what we do together, how, we can both sort of help expand what his mission is, I think this is where we are today. And get you some hate, but it also gets you people who are really excited to be a part of something that they've always had, that like they should have always been a part of it, right? We're saying, no, the doors are open, that they've always been there for you to open. We're opening them, and you need to come in, and if you want to do the work, here's the opportunity. We give you the opportunity. We don't do it for you. We find those for you. And then you go out and you build what you want to build. So that's kind of, to me, the general vibe of Get Haunted.
Yeah. And there is a misconception out there, especially amongst the haters, that we're an event company, right? And it really is not. I know it can look like that because we do a lot of events, but we utilize the events to connect with the community. So Russell, that's how we met, and we'll get to that event later. But that is not what we're all about. It's a nice way to connect with everybody. People think it's a very glamorous and profitable situation. It really isn't. That's a whole nother show. But we have met hundreds and hundreds, and I have met thousands, and almost every single one of them it's just been amazing. So we get either a lot of return people or all new people. So, the people that show up to our events and leave, especially if they've been to other public events like Sarah was talking about, are usually like, holy shit, I didn't expect it to be this way, which is a good thing for those that haven't been, because it's everything Sarah talked about. We don't work in front of you. We work alongside of you. The other big component to what we're trying to do, and you're seeing more and more of it now, is, we call them mercenaries now. But the initial concept was, I call them charter teams. And that's where we'd bring in an outside team to co-host with us, because they don't always get that chance. A bigger location like the one you were at, MSP, it's really not feasible for a team to come in and rent that place for themselves. It just isn't. Certain locations are like that. So if we can help by co-hosting and getting people in there, and guess what? On top of that, you get a bunch of new eyes on your team, and it's all about the cross promotion and sharing and learning from each other. One of the very first charter teams we had, and I always use this example, is Silence Paranormal. It's a team of deaf women out of New England. And we did the Estes method using sign language, and it friggin' worked. And that is not something, I don't care what anybody says, nobody would have been sitting around that day going, you know what? Maybe we should try Estes and do sign language. It just doesn't happen, but they need to do it that way And it was one of the coolest experiences I've had with working with another team. So, you know, that for me, all of that is what it's all about. You know, Sarah has and has always brought Get Haunted to the next level. I'm an infantry guy, man. I can people either love me or hate me, right? I connect with certain people and other people I'm like, nope, like just ain't happening. But Sarah has a way with words that I just don't have. So and she did. She grew, our network from what it was to right now. We reach 85,000 people a month or so. And for us, that's a big deal. I know for some shows and people that's nothing, but for us, it's a big deal. Um, so yeah, we're coming up on 3 years in existence here, right around the Supernatural soiree, the big party we're having in October with Ghosted Magazine, and I'm proud of everything we've done. For those that don't know, it's insane. I have put in 2020, early in 2021, I lost my day job of 24 years and ended up in a divorce later and all these fun things. So I've rolled a lot of dice on trying to get this company up and running as sustainable. And I've spent an awful lot of money on it. And you know what? Even if we've closed up shop tomorrow, I would have zero regrets because of all the fine people that we've met along the way, some of the impact that I believe we've had on the field, and watching teams just sprout off of
Mhm.
and become part of it and go off to do their own thing, and it's what we've always encouraged. So there's the whole story in a very small nutshell.
Well, I know from what I've seen at the MSP, I mean, a lot of people interacted, and you could see they were having a real good time doing it.
That was one, look, that event was a nail biter for me, right? So well, for all of us, right? Because this something weird about this year with events and ticket sales and people literally waiting until the last like 2 days to buy
Mm.
tickets. So and we don't cancel. We try not to. We've only ever had to cancel, I think, twice
There's
in three
way.
years, right? But we always pay no matter what. Hey, Wade. Aw,
I know. I can't. It's going to make me
I know
cry.
he gets me all choked up. Um, so even if we do end up having to cancel an event, we always pay, right? So no matter what, Missouri was getting paid. Um,
Right.
and it's a long trip, and getting the boys out there and getting hotels and all those things that come along with putting on an event are very expensive. So, and I wanted people to have this opportunity, right? Because you don't get it. That was our second event with Devils on the Run,
Mm.
with Wade and Chris and Dan and the Artifacts, and having them in that location was, for me, it was very intriguing to see, well, what was going to happen after, especially after knowing what happened on the first one. And it just, like, visually, right, it was badass, man. Once it got set up, we were like, all right, thank God, this is cool. We had a fair amount of people. um and I don't think there was one person there that I was like, "Oh god, they're gonna be a problem." I mean, all of those people that night were just so cool and so into it, and, we walked away from that one going, that was a huge success as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, like I said, we had a blast.
Yeah. You know, it was such a rare opportunity, right? To be in that, especially in a hall with all of those objects that, with the museum being closed, you don't get access to. Um, for them to do that and offer this opportunity to the public, right? Especially out in the Midwest there, right? It's a hall to Connecticut, even if the museum was open. And there are people out there that disagree with this whole notion, and I
Mhm.
I'm not even going to give them much energy, but um, nobody gets to decide for other people what they should or shouldn't do, or what other groups do or don't do. So, we were happy to put that event on, and thank you for coming, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome.
You guys made the night very, very interesting. And Dan, Wade, Chris, just doing their thing, killing it. It was cool. Sad part, right? That's the sad part. I'm constantly, anybody that's working it, like me or Joe B and Dom, like, we don't get a chance to really even be a part of that part, right? Because we're all in our own little assignments there. And Sarah couldn't make that one, unfortunately, but she did get to do the first Devils on the Run at the Shanley Hotel, which was really cool as well. It's just a much smaller kind of location, right? But I think they had two different vibes to them. So an MSP, to me, Missouri State Penitentiary, is one of my favorite locations. Been there so many times and always have really cool experiences. And I got to meet some really cool people this time that validated a couple stories for me. So, man, I don't know. It was just good. It was good. And I finally got to meet Julie Couch, who I've seen on Facebook for like 1,000 years now. And then there she was sitting there, and you and your dad. It was cool.
Yeah, you actually got to meet the cousins of Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah, there you go. That too. Shit, I keep forgetting about that. So yeah, it just watching the different, and that was the other beautiful part of this is that the Nesper crew, they're very different investigative style than Sarah and I are, right? We're not a very faith-based investigators, right? Some of our crew is, we're not. So to have, all these different styles, right, for people to pick and choose from. And there were guests there that night that were like, this really isn't my way, but I'm down to sit and learn and hear about it on both sides. So it's cool to offer a very well-rounded experience, I think, via that particular event in that particular location with a bunch of really good people.
And I know we had to do several cleansings that night.
Yeah, you guys were off working, man. I'm like, they'll be all right. Yep. You guys are spraying people, and we had Wade there. I don't worry, right? Wade just got his holy water gun. Mm-hmm. It's like a machine gun. He's firing it out into the crowd.
Medical emergency one. My dad had to work on her.
Yeah, that was an interesting scenario. And this is where, when I talk about differences, I don't always jump to paranormal reasoning for, now she did have a medical condition called POTS, right? So we had to look at that first and get her calmed down, and most importantly, get everybody kind of away from her because she was being crowded. Even the cop, Chris, was like, dude, just leave her alone. Everybody needs to back off. But it was, it's always concerning when somebody's not feeling well. I was actually coming from a hall, I think. Yeah. Well, I was coming from somewhere, and I saw them bringing her down those stairs from women's, and I was like, uh-oh, shit. So that's why we had to get Joe B to jump in and take over. So, yeah, man. But she's good. She was good by the end of the night. She looked.
Yeah, I thought she looked all right by the end of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really, really good night. Just for me, really long drive. It was 16 hours.
Oh, I know. I'm from New York. I drove all the way out here from New York State. So.
All right, so you are in New York State, because I was looking at your post.
I'm originally from there. I live in Missouri now. I've been in Missouri about 12 years now.
All right, so where in New York State?
I was in the southern part. I don't know if you ever heard of Callicoon, New York, Liberty, New York.
Yeah, I know where Liberty is. Yeah.
I'm down in that area. That's where I was born and raised.
All right, very cool. So, what was your overall assessment? You had a good time that night. Would you come back to one of our events?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, good. And you're a seasoned guy, right? That's another thing. We get a lot, like, people that are seasoned are like, I'm not going to do a damn public event, but we do try very very hard to control things, right? And to maintain as clean as of an investigation as possible, in a public setting, which that's where the Jersey comes out in me. If people get stupid, I throw them right out. But
Right.
I give them a couple warnings. Won't be the first time, but yeah, we're really good at that. And I think some of that comes from, the tone you set as you start. When you start and you go through the rules and you go through those things. If people come off as hard asses, you might get hard ass responses. But so far, we haven't had to toss anybody.
Yeah, everybody seems to be pretty good that night. There was a couple of guys that kind of concerned me. They were fooling around a little bit. But towards the end of the night, when we went to free roam, they tagged along with us. We started doing the Estes method down same cell that Dan did his. And when Julie, she didn't use the spirit box, she just tapped into her ability. Started cussing and picked up on a man that was angry. And those guys, they hightailed it out of there.
Well, good. Maybe they needed that.
And I ended up tapping into my abilities. I picked up on JB, the firebug.
Yeah.
And cell number 20, which Wade confirmed that cell 20 is where he stored the artifacts.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Very cool.
So it was a pretty good night. We had the spirit box going, growling at us.
Nice.
In fact, we picked up the name Amy in Death Row, which is Amy's script was coming back there in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think Jenny posted something about that. That's right. Yeah,
So
man.
we're mentioned in Amy's video.
Oh, cool.
Very
there.
cool. Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. So
it was a good night.
I loved every minute of it. I did. I did. I was exhausted. Like we wrapped that thing up. I know the boys were tired, so they were taking on. They were, we were just down the street. Like we could literally walk to the house. The hardest part at Missouri State Penitentiary is clearing it at the end of the night. So after everybody's supposed to be gone, right? We think they're all gone, but we have to make sure. So walking through those buildings at the end of the night can be really creepy, a little overwhelming. But I think that the crew that night jumped in. They were like, "We got this one." And I was like, "Thank you. We're out." So we're out.
Yeah, they're pretty good about it. I've done the private overnight there last summer.
Yeah.
They let you go till 6 in the morning there. So here's the sun's coming on.
Oh God, yeah. God, yeah.
I wanted to sort of circle back to something, Rob, that you guys were talking about. I didn't get to go to the MSP with Devils on the Run, but I was at their first kickoff at Shanley in Napanock, New York. And one thing that is really cool about being able to work with NESPR and to work with the community and having it in places like MSP or Shanley, because as Rob said, one, the Warren Occult Museum is no longer open to the public. But to bring it to locations, it's a little easier for, more people to be able to say yes to coming and having these opportunities with very iconic artifacts, and with NESPR. I believe 1954. I don't know if that's correct. 52 or 54, right? That Mr. Warren started NESPR. But as we know, especially now with social media sort of infiltrating everything in our lives, people have big opinions. People share those big opinions, whether they're actually educated, formed opinions or just things that they've heard and they're passing on. To be able to work with NESPR, and I don't think I'm saying anything here this is not a disparaging comment here, but they have their own, group of people that don't have the nicest things to say. And that has followed the Warrens for years. This is nothing new for them. But when we make those choices to work with everyone that we work with, our focus, and when you get to work with a team, especially like NESPR, the focus is to bring them to the community so the the community has an opportunity to form their own opinions.
Yeah.
And what I have learned, it's very easy to get caught up. It's very easy. And everybody now wants to be an investigative journalist. Everybody thinks they're out there doing the good work. And I'm not really sure what they have really uncovered, because everything that I've watched is still based a lot on opinion. It's not really based on fact.
Right.
But when Tony came to the first Devils on the Run tour, and he got right in there and he spoke with us. He was so kind and so gracious and generous, and he talked with the people who came to we did like a museum tour first before we did the investigation. And these are opportunities, that not everybody gets to go home with. But you got to really get to know Tony. You got to work with Wade, is like amazing. Dan, amazing. Chris, so freaking nice. And I think for us to be able to change the minds or help form their own opinions, right? I guess not really even changing minds, but if you had an opinion about Nesper or whoever it is we're working with, and then you yourself get to come and spend time with these people and understand where they come from. We don't ever learn full stories. We just hear a half a story, run with it, and then everybody jumps on board and they think they're super cool for doing it. But it's like, give somebody a chance. Again, it goes down to everybody has a voice. And I think that's the one thing with the paranormal community right now is there are those out there that are saying, pick a side. And this is why you're going to pick this side, instead of just saying, you know what, we're not saying you don't have to love everything that we do. You don't have to look at everything we do and say whatever. But if you're somebody that is new to the paranormal, or if you've had a great love of the paranormal and you hear all this kind of bullshit going on, do come to one of these events and form your own opinion. You really might walk away very surprised that there is something that resonates in everything. And it really comes down to listening to people's personal stories, listening to Wade, listening to Dan, listening to Chris. I haven't heard Chris's story, but when you hear them speak, it rehumanizes the experience of paranormal instead of this egocentric opinion, that is just floating around social media and everybody thinking that they know. And, in the end, we don't really know somebody until we spend time with them. So I was really proud of this collab with Nesper, and to be able to bring this to more people in the community that wanted it. And I don't know that they quite understood the assignment, but I think now that these they did 3. We did 2 of the 3. I know they did one with Ryan Buell in Texas. And I don't know how that one was structured, but I think that when you have those moments, these groups at the Shanley, the group at MSP, that can go out and now expand on that experience and understand the importance of forming your own opinion, learning something new, understand that your experience might not match their experience, but there's something in there that's a common thread. So I'm really proud of that collab, and the work that we put into it, because I think that, no matter what anybody says, you can have those crappy opinions, but there are people in the community here that take a lot of heat, but because of their work in the paranormal, it's why the field is what it is today. That's why it's now out from under the rocks and out in the open, and we can all do things together. It's kind of a crazy, to me, I think this is needed. I think this sort of, you got to shake it up a little bit, right? And the social media realm makes it really hard, but also really good, because now you, Russell, were at MSP. Here you got to have this experience with the Warren, the Nesper, the Warren Occults Museum. Like, I think it's really important for people to understand that. Ask yourself why people have such a hard on for certain people in the paranormal. Just what is the issue? What is really the issue here?
And we'll return
Because
after this commercial break.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm just, you know,
I know, I'm joking.
I
So
feel like we need to stop with voicing these opinions without saying, look, this is just my opinion. I have been proven wrong over and over again. And that is thanks to Get Haunted, to be able to step into the community, work with the community, and work with people that you might have had like not interested, but then you give yourself that opportunity to do it.
Right.
Opens your eyes, it opens your mind, and it really does expand your experience. And I think so many people are not just wrecking it for other people, they're really wrecking it for themselves. Sorry, I have to get off the soapbox now.
no, it's okay. No, and I was trying to be funny. No, and she's totally right. You know, it's
Yeah, you're
been
100% right.
it's been interesting to watch, you know, from our vantage point, you know, all of the things. Because here's the truth, everybody, right? Because sometimes people will reach out to us and be like, "Oh my God, don't have that person on your show," but the person that's saying that to us, somebody said the same shit about them, right? And we just like, it's like, no, right? No. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's bad, like legit bad things happening out there, we want to know.
Absolutely.
And we would never support or condone that. But I'm not, nobody tells us who to be friends with. Nobody tells us, especially when they appear at least to be butthurt about something that I don't give a shit about. End of story. So yeah, we would actually be able to work with nobody if we listen to everybody who has an opinion about somebody. It's just we all might as well stay home. So, you know, it to Sarah's point, it's been eye-opening, it's been fun, it's been sad, it's been happy, it's been a lot of things getting to work with all of these different people. And the even bigger story is getting to, you know, because we get pretty spiritual on some of our stuff, like pretty deep, is learning about what brought people to the paranormal, right? And it's usually something big that happened in their life, and sometimes at a young age. And that was kind of where, you know, the original tagline came from, because it didn't just mean, for me, paranormal, right? There are people that are abuse survivors or have PTSD from something. Everybody's haunted by something, and this journey that we're all on, right? And Sarah loves to remind me we're all going to die one day, right?
We are,
you know, trying to understand a little bit past this lifetime here. It's a pretty magical thing when you can put away all the bullshit and put away all of the social media, which, you know, for us is a necessary evil, and just really experience it. And you'll appreciate your the time we have here right now a little bit more. It's just really, really cool, man. We've been really lucky and blessed to have met all the fine people that we've met so far. Yeah, and that's the thing, Adam, right? There's and our, you know, our events are, we often attract newish or newer people, or sometimes people that have never done this shit before. They've only watched it on TV. So we already know they're coming in with a skewed perspective on what it's probably going to be like. So we do try to level set that and give them, you know, realistic expectations for what the night might be, which is, you know, why Sarah's tagline, you know, we can't promise you a paranormal experience, but we can promise you an experience in the paranormal. If you guys show up, if people show up, we're going to have fun. I don't care. Like, it can be the quietest night ever. I'll do charades. I don't care what we got to do, but we're not gonna sit there and bitch that, you know, we couldn't get paranormal activity to happen. We don't promise it. You can't. Happens when it happens. We're on their schedule. But there are things that, you know, we can do to help coax things out. So some opinions are based on physical research. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there. I agree, Mariah. Um, no coincidences, Damien. That's the truth, and that's the one big thing I've learned over the past few years is everything happens for a reason. Russell, I met you that night because I needed to meet you. I don't know why yet, unless this is the reason, which is perfectly fine. Um, it's crazy when you start looking at all of
Right.
the things that fall into place over the past few years. It's really interesting.
And we didn't even know you guys were going to roll into the museum that day when we were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dan never told us. I told Wade you guys need to check out the museum, but I didn't know you guys were coming in that day. We were just bringing our buddy Chris up there 'cause he's never been there before.
Okay. So look at that. There was a big old bonus.
Yep.
Damn. Aw. In the past 3 years, worked as a team with others, working with Get Haunted and as part of Nesper. Did it click? They both Wait, stop.
I know.
No,
He's gonna.
I know.
I'm really emotional this week. Wait, stop.
This is Wade Kirby, right? Might be the kindest human being on the planet, right?
I agree.
My first interaction with Wade ever was in a ride during a ride to West Virginia. Was that last year? Yeah, last year sometime. We were, came to Old Hospital on College Hill, and it was just one of the best trips you could ever ask for because Wade was there, and Wade is just Wade, and you cannot not love this guy. He's so good, and he's hilarious, and he's quirky about certain things. He's a clean freak, which I should be a little bit more of. So he schools me on how to properly wipe things. He's very particular about Wade, Wade, you are on the way things should be on presentation. His job for many, many years was based on presentation and etiquette. So he's just one of the best people in the world ever because I don't know. He's just a good dude. I'm telling you. So to work with him has been a privilege and an honor. And he's just awesome. He's just
I keep a little bit of Wade with me
There you go.
everywhere I go. This was given to me by Wade, and although I'm not a big holy water user ever, this right here reminds me that there are good souls right with you all the time that want to do something nice for you. And I think this is where so many people miss the mark. I'm not really sure if we're constantly fighting for our belief or our thought or theory to be the one. I think when we do that, we like put that before we put anybody else, right? And so we're willing to knock each other down. And you can't honestly, having that time with Dan, Chris, and Wade. It's the only time I've had with them, and ever since then, they've always been nothing but kind. And I don't see that. I don't see necessarily that anger or that ugliness coming from their side, and it's a weird intake for people who want to go out there and share their stories, right? To constantly be sort of judged and people taking a piece of your story and then building a new narrative to it. So I always appreciate Wade has been a huge supporter of us ever since we worked with him, and he's always right there. And it's just a nice reminder to see his name pop up. But I keep my holy water right here.
Oh. I have mine downstairs. Yeah. So, this whole journey, and look, we got our own little fan clubs out there. And I think that comes from some weird places, right? And I'm sure, Russell, you've had them. There are people out there that also have them. It becomes this weird thing with social media where people want to knock each other, and it's sad if people put as much energy into beating other people as they do into beating other people up into their own lives. They might not be so angry. So, we keep pushing forward. I feel like sometimes the changes that happen with, at least within the Get Haunted Army, right? We call them the Get Haunted Army, irritates people. They don't like to see that. And also think sometimes there's a narrative that some folks have, that they don't want anybody to deviate from, right? You must investigate this way and it has to be done this way. And if you do it this way, you're an asshole. We've heard that, believe me.
Right.
And no, that's not how this works. It's not how this works. So yeah, we're gonna keep doing our thing until, I don't know, if I win the lottery, we'll just do one big ass giant event. We'll rent out every prison in the country and then have one massive live event, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, I am curious though with Russell. I know Mark is just the nicest. I cannot wait to meet Mark in the flesh. We haven't had a chance to do that yet. But Russell, I'm curious, you were at MSP, you were at one of our it was a very specialized event, working with the Great Nesper. Everybody in the crew, the Get Haunted crew, the Mercs, the crew, and Nesper, and I would assume everybody that showed up, from the curious to the seasoned, everybody has a technique, a style, a practice, a religion. And how did you see that playing out while you were there at MSP? Like, everybody just did their thing, learning from each other, watching each other. Were there riots going on? Like, were people flipping out over doing something different from somebody else, or watching somebody do something that they might not believe in? Were people losing their minds, or?
No, everybody coincided, worked together as a team in the group. I mean, they each asked questions. There wasn't one saying, "Hey, you need to ask this. You need to do that."
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. It's nice to hear, because I think that for us. I know when I get to work events, it's really there. We're there to encourage and motivate, and inspire people. Ask somebody, if you watch somebody doing, I don't know, some kind of a technique and they're investigating that you've never seen before, ask them about it and try it. You can try it. If you don't like it, move on. I don't think it needs to be criticized. I think there is a way to just go, didn't work for me. I know actually it was at the Shanley Nesper event. We met that amazing gentleman. Rob, I don't remember that. He was Sunday. He asked the best questions when it came to EVPs, and the way he would state them.
Yeah.
I remember like the way he would ask and talking to him and understand. I just went out and I was just like, so why do you ask your questions like that? Like, they're amazing, but I'm just curious. And he explained it. And wow, to be able to now take a piece of what he does and put it into a Sarah style, like, because that's kind of, I have a hard time with EVPs. Rob puts a recorder, I can talk all day long, but he puts a recorder in front of my face and suddenly I can't think of a question. But I loved the way he did that. And I think that's where maybe where the television, don't even crucify me for this, but maybe where the television shows and the social media has sort of pulled the personal out of paranormal. We suddenly are mimicking, or we want to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
And we sort of step away from what the calling is or what our real interest was. Because I'm going to just put it out there. I really do not believe that anybody, when they had this moment, and I don't mean watching a TV show and then going, I'm going to emulate that. I mean, somebody that truly had a moment in their life that made them go, what is life after death? What is it this I'm connecting with, that ever went, I have to do it on TV. I don't buy that for a second. I think people who are truly, truly passionate about where it is we go, or what could be going on with some of our experiences day to day, you know, you set aside the kind of BS that goes with the trying to be the next big paranormal star. And it could go from helping somebody. If you want to help people in their own homes, I think that's just fine. But more so, I think what I'm learning, I feel like it's like a church thing, Rob. We talked about this. I put a post out on the network about, you know, how do you feel? There is right now the big topic on, if you don't help people, if you don't go to their personal residence, you're not a real investigator. So I posed that question, and boy, people came out and they had a lot to say about it. And I feel like I'm wondering if there is any kind of correlation with sort of that church and how people have stepped away from church and sort of out there looking for their own experience with connecting to a higher being. And that might be where the paranormal is going. That might be a little bit of the shift that you're seeing. And it's sort of rattling the cages, where there's still a need for that. You're going to always have people that have that very faith-based belief in the paranormal. But I think today there are a lot of people that have the spiritual-based belief, and they're looking for their connection in universe. They're looking for their connection just with each other, and they don't need one person to tell them. My point being is, not one is bad, wrong, or right. I think that there is something out there for everyone. There is something that resonates for everyone. And we've got to stop demonizing those who don't do it like us.
And like Damien said too, you do need the understanding and mental wellness for home visits. I mean, we do residential quite a bit. I mean, we've done probably over 150 of them. And I mean, you deal with all sorts of people, schizophrenic people, the alcohol abuse, sexual abuse, people have been raped. So
yeah, it's tough. There's a lot of responsibility there. Absolutely. And, you know, but look, the paranormal, if we looked at it as a puzzle, right, there's all different pieces that go together, and each piece is just as important as the other. But without one of those pieces, we don't have the big picture, the full picture, I should say. Yeah, man, you know, and Russell did experience that at MSP with a technique. I think we chatted about it for a second. Technique he hadn't seen before, that Joe B from Next of Kin Paranormal had brought to the table that night, and that was the human pendulum, right? Which, look, I suck at it. I'm gonna be honest, right? I'm not good at it. I can watch it; it's fun to watch, but me swaying around in the middle, just not a good thing, right? It's just not a good thing. But people were, when I walked in on that one session, people were digging it. It looked cool.
Yeah, it was. Julie actually ended up being the pendulum for the second session of it, and she was getting some intelligent responses. We were getting a woman that wanted to communicate, and Joe asked, "Do you want to speak to a guest here?" And it went to yes. And he said, "How about a female guest?" Went to no. And then, "How about a male guest?" And he went to yes. And then Joe asked me my name, and I told him. He says, "You want to talk to Russell?" And immediately, right to yes.
That's cool.
Interesting. That's
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, from being there last summer, communicating with her.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm looking at Mariah's.
I know.
She's got great. She's adding and sharing some great information here, and I agree with you there, Mariah. Like, and I also, you know, to that point, I also want to say, because I don't have, I can't say what works for somebody else. So I think there's also this weird sense of, you know, as investigators or as explorers or whatever the correct term is, I don't know what we're supposed to be using right now. Ghost hunter, investigator, explorer, discoverer. I don't know. But I think there is this moment where you have to be able to say, like, this isn't my wheelhouse, but I know this great person that follows that narrative. And I think handing that stuff off, because you want to work when you're working with people, especially your personal residents, right? You want to be sure that the person you're working with is fully covered, and maybe it takes 3 different styles of investigators to come in to work with them. So I think handing that stuff off doesn't make you less of an investigator. You can't know it all. You just can't. You can't know every piece of the paranormal.
That's why
Exactly. Oh, there you go. Look at there's Rob from
Ghost Gear
Ghost Gear Tech, maker of the Epic Box.
and Piccolo, soon to have a Piccolo.
Yeah, Sarah's. Yeah, I see you eked a Piccolo out of her. Not planned, Russell. That was just called.
That's right. I know Rob.
Timing.
I know Rob from.
He's awesome.
But back to Mariah's point there, and I'd love to talk to her one day. But this was something. Yeah, there's another piece of this story here where, I suffered a lot after a certain location, and to the point where it was bad for me. I am 99.9% certain I wouldn't be here today talking to you if it weren't for Sarah. And it was the other side. It was some sort of intervention and I didn't know Sarah, but I called her. I messaged her about my struggles that I was having after a particular location, and she and her knowing of things walked me through this. And to Mariah's point, the bigger experiences that were viewed very, very differently than what they were all tied to some baggage that I had from years and years and years. And it changed my whole life, honestly. But when you can start looking at things that way, holy cow, things start to make a lot more sense. So that's a whole different show. But there were paranormal experiences. I was just perceiving them entirely the wrong way, to the point where I was kind of done existing that morning. Long story, but yeah, great point, Mariah. And I believe we're saying it right. It's Mariah, correct?
That's what I would assume, Mariah.
Yeah. So what else? What else do you want to know about me? I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
Well, I did see you guys are going to be at the Warren's Faircon in September.
Oh, we're there. We're there. Yeah. We're there. We got a hell of a setup. We did last year, right? And I believe we've got the same setup this year. You'll see. We have obnoxious lights that broadcast our logos up on the ceiling, and you can't miss us. Let's put it that way. And you'll be there.
Yep. We'll be there. We'll be there. Julie will be there, and Chris.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I need another Julie hug. That was a nice hug that I got after the intros. Hey, Carmen.
Yeah, Julie's a good person. We work together on cases quite a bit. That's who's co-hosting that event with me in July is Raven's Eye.
It's so strange because, again, I've seen her comments and I've seen her face on Facebook for years, I think. And then to finally meet her, there at MSP with you guys was it was so cool to finally, physically be in the same space as her.
I met her last October at a Paracon. And
okay.
We all just hit it off, teamed up, and started working cases together and doing a lot of residential. And some of the stuff we've ran into an element called the Draconian Starseed at a location.
Okay.
And Julie channeled into it, which was kind of interesting. She started scraping her nails across the floor, and the owners perceived it as demonic. So I started using kind of like the religious provocation towards it. And she laughed at me and says, "You're a funny little prick, aren't you?"
Wow.
And it says I'm older than God.
Oh, wow.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Over the years, has spirit changed? Oh, well, you kind of answered that a little bit.
For me, yes. absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know for you. I don't know for you, Sarah. I mean, I'll say for me,
Yeah.
1000%. When I came into this in 2008, I had a very different perspective on um, everything, and I did. What got me really into it were some two or three bigger experiences, but I didn't understand them back then.
Mhm.
Understand them at least in a way that makes the most sense for me. Doesn't mean my understanding is exactly what anybody else's would be, um,
Mhm.
but they work for me.
Yeah.
But that
It's such a great question, and I think I'm not sure how to answer that, Rob, and I think you might understand
I do.
probably why I have a hard time answering that question. What I will say though is, um, it might not be the ideology for me, but I think it's me accepting. It's more of acknowledging, admitting. I'm not quite sure how to. I would love to have that conversation, Mariah, sometime. Like,
Yeah, we
maybe
gotta
we
get
can
her.
do a
We gotta
show.
get
Like,
her.
let's.
Um, yeah, absolutely. It's and when you do, and this is all I do, and Sarah and I spend a good 12 to 14 hours a day sometimes working on Get Haunted and Paranormally Blonde, and working on trying to make the network better for everybody. We also have the paranormal podcast program that Sarah kicked off, which is kind of the same concept as what the Get Haunted network is for enthusiasts, investigators, all the way up to the celebs, for podcasters like yourself and anybody else out there to cross promote and share and help each other out. We put a lot of time and effort into this. So, you know, believe me, we wouldn't if this wasn't like if there wasn't a deeper understanding and it wasn't so important to us down to our, to a cellular level. It is what it is. Seeing things I'll never be able to describe to people, felt things, heard things, recorded things. It's for me, it's just kind of normal now. I don't know how else to explain that, but it's cool, but yeah, perspectives change over time, and they should, right? Because once you hit a plateau and you become unteachable,
Mhm.
uh, there's really no point in moving on.
But it's not even teachable. Yeah, I think when we are so distracted, we have so many distractions, more so today than ever before, between cell phones, right, and internet, and just constant having our minds be sort of entertained instead of entertaining ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that, trying to bring it back to a little bit of self-awareness, and I feel it, that's what the network really is about. It's letting people have their voice, letting people sort of find what resonates. You become more and more self-aware when things start to resonate with you, right? And I think, Rob, it's what we work really hard at with the network. And when we do our shows, we have a show, we haven't had it on, it deserves a lot of time and effort, and thought, and it's Seek with Your Soul. And it's where we really get kind of down to the nitty gritty. We sort of take out the let's try to be like everybody else, and let's just talk about experiences and where they start, and some of our traumas and our experiences in our life that were a little bit more tragic, that could lead us to these experiences. Kind of what Mariah is saying, right? Do we bring this baggage with us to investigations? And I think that, we're really sort of shedding all that stuff, I think, when we do our events. That's one thing I am really proud of these events, is to be able to encourage people to just to like stop, because in the beginning, some people are super excited to show what they can do, and we love that, right? But just take a breath, take a moment. Let's just be, let's just sit, let's be quiet. And people start talking. Danny, in our management and our crew, she's huge for her saying in intros is, if you see it, hear it, feel it, say it. You need to say it, because if you're feeling it or hearing it or seeing it and you don't say something, somebody also might have, but nobody wants to say it first, right? Yeah. So say it and encourage your fellow investigators to be like, you know what? I just heard that too, or I just saw that too, and validate and become aware. And I think when we get those little gems, right, we become more confident, and we learn to set aside, even though I'm still working on it, so don't say anything, Rob. Set aside that imposter syndrome for a moment. But it's, I think it's where it's one of the really rewarding aspects that and why you take the punches sometimes on a daily, but usually a weekly. We take the punches, and that's because we have those moments to work with the community. And when you give somebody that voice and you give them that space, and we're really good at creating space. And you'll hear people. I guarantee you right now there are people rolling their eyes or going bullshit. The space was created for you. What you did with it was your choice. We didn't ask you to do what you did. So if you didn't get from it what you wanted, that's on you. All we can do is create the space. And so when we walk out of our investigations, I would say there's pretty big percentage, Rob. I'd say in the 90s% of the guests that come will have done something amazing with that space. Always.
Yeah, listen, and it's fun to watch. So, and Russell, you may not know, and for the viewers, and we offer these different tiers or different types of investigation, right? We're not, I know everybody wants to come out and grab a K2 meter and an epic box by Ghost King. And they love the equipment, right? And we call those kind of the OG investigations. It's very equipment based. However, and on a rotate, we usually have 2 to 3 rotations. One of those will always be equipment. One of those will be more senses and spiritual type of thing. And then one will be sort of a hybrid. But then we offer this next level up. And these are kind of fun to do, especially in certain locations where it's pretty much just, Victorian era spiritualism, right? You get the table tipping, you get the rapping and the knocking. We and sometimes dress the part. It's kind of fun. But then we take it up on one more tier to a program that we run called Making Sense of Your Senses. And that, for me, right, and for Sarah, and like, we've all been investigating a long time. I've never learned a single thing from a K2 meter, from a REM pod, from an Ovilus, from an SLS. I haven't learned shit, right? It's always been when we're not handling the equipment. And actually, most of my biggest experiences have always been when I'm not really investigating. It's just being. So in Making Sense, we throw away all the equipment. Like, don't get shit out. And Sarah teaches automatic writing, scrying with a twist. Not automatic writing, scrying with a twist, which includes some automatic writing. Danny will teach psychometry. And I do this crazy kind of crash course in remote viewing. And the first one we did, it was a big old gamble. Like, we weren't sure how this was gonna go, right? And Rob, yeah, I'm not knocking equipment, Mr.
He's like, easy now with the equipment.
He's like 50% sale on. No, but and there's a time and place for equipment. I mean, equipment's a great thing, and Rob will be the first to say, and I have stolen his line, like, this measures anomalies. It doesn't measure a spirit, right? It just doesn't. This does. Everybody out there does. So anyway, we didn't know if this was going to work, right? So we take them through these 3 techniques, and holy shit, like, Sarah's thing, we watched it. We were standing there watching everybody doing their thing and them drawing, and it was like, oh my God. And then Danny does the psychometry, and the results have been astounding. And then look, it was a gamble with the remote viewing, and mine is more the military style, in which I took Stacy Telich's course and kind of smashed it down into an hour and we just haul ass through this thing. Well, guess what happened? The first time we did it, there were like 4 or 5 couples there, and each of those couples literally drew, remote viewed a piece of the target. It's called a blind target, which is sealed up in an envelope. Nobody knows that shit. And we were like, no way. And then we did it again. And then we did it again. And even the because usually, right, it's the wife or girlfriend's there because they're into this, and the boyfriend's there like, because he's got to be there, right? This is the scenario more often than not. And those guys were getting it right. It was just stunning to watch. That the location owners that night were like, holy shit, we've never seen anything like that. So we got them to wake themselves up, right? Turn this equipment on, and then go do an investigation. Yeah, bring an AVP recorder, maybe bring one other piece, but go interact. You don't need all this stuff, especially in certain places. And that was the beginning of making sense of your senses, which was also a Sarah idea. On the very first time I met her was at a place in person. Was at a place in West Virginia called the Haunted Heyman House, and it's a magical place, man. Like,
you guys should book it. It's amazing.
Yeah. I've heard of it.
It's
awesome.
It's ridiculous, right? It's just one of those kind of places. So we investigated the night prior. We were all having breakfast the next day, and Sarah was like, I have a cool event idea. This is how she stole the company from me. And she kind of pitched this making sense concept. And there we were, a couple of years later, and doing the first one, and we've done a second one, and each and every, and Teresa's awesome too. Aside from the location, Teresa's just a wonderful, wonderful human being. But every time we do this, it blows people away because they don't realize the power they bring or what they bring to a paranormal investigation, right? You can bring all the gear. It's cool. But what you're bringing to it, and it lands on Mariah's point, and it lands on some of the points I was trying to make earlier about my own personal experiences and the things Sarah has taught me, to recognize, it's bigger than gadgets. It's bigger than stories.
But what I like about making sense as well, and just so everybody knows, here's a disclaimer. Danny, myself, and Rob, we do not claim to be experts in any of these practices. These are things that resonated with us. And so we study it, we try new things, and really doing it twice now, we've learned it. Well, we've kind of twice in a major way. Once like a mini making sense at a Paracon, which was the East Coast Para Expo that we did at, oh my gosh, why can I not think of the location?
I know, I got a really cool location in Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts, yeah, it was amazing. But the beautiful thing about it is you listen, and we state it, not so much Heart Stuff Hall. Thank you, Heart Stuff. But it's not so much with remote viewing because there is a very specific, especially because he does do the military style remote viewing. But, giving the basics of what we know is out there on scrying and automatic writing and psychometry. But those practices also carry from different cultures, different ways of doing it. So to talk to those that join the making senses and hearing their thoughts and trying their styles, that's what it's all about. We're giving you some basics. Now you can put your twist on it. We're not saying by any stretch of the imagination, our way is the way and there is no other way. It is a learning opportunity. It is a growing opportunity to do it together. And we've always stated that we learn just as much from you as you learn from us. Even the newest of new people coming in, You always walk away with something from them because they're so fresh and they're coming in with a question that, sometimes we get into that tunnel vision of what we're doing and we don't think of something else. And then they come out and they say something, you're like, oh my God, it's like brand new again. So it's fun. It is a fun way to experience and again, bring self-awareness back. We look at equipment so much that we forget, we're looking down there while things are happening over there. It's like, just stop for a moment and smell the roses, just vibe out in the room.
Well, that's like even mirror scrying too. Julie and I do that. We've done it a few times at a location.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think when you look at the different cultures, you can just even a simple Google, but go to your library. I mean, the different cultures and the way how they use scrying, what it was for, it's different across the board. Who's to say one way is wrong and one way is right? It's a way, and see what works for you.
Yeah.
Well, even like KD Stafford, the owner of Supernatural Inc., they do psychic drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I witnessed that firsthand at a Paracon. KD was just sitting there drawing. He drew this chair, and then there was some pillars next to it. And he had never been to this location. He went upstairs. They had to find this picture, and they ended up finding it was upstairs at that location.
Oh wow,
cool.
That's so incredible. That's so incredible.
Hey Russ, I just want you to know, I got a haircut for this show today.
Oh,
and everybody on the side.
Oh my God! Everybody, take a moment, take it in.
I was looking ratty yesterday, man. Like, I don't even know what I look like in Missouri, but yesterday I was like, good God, I gotta go.
I know you kind of looked rough when you were out here.
We did?
Yeah,
you kind of did.
All right, bro.
You said you're the one that brought it up, so I don't want to hear it.
Know how I looked in Missouri. Hi, Denise, my friend.
There's not just your friend.
You didn't have to drive it home, Russ. Jesus. Okay, weed looked good. I know that much.
Damien, I did not use ritual candles with scrying. We did use some candlelight, but I also don't encourage people to stare at themselves necessarily, but to use their third eye to reflect in the scrying mirror. So the ritual candles, again, I think it is a beautiful way of doing scrying. But there are many different ways to.
Yeah. Plus, there's some issues. A lot of locations we rent, you just can't. Open flames are
discouraged.
No open flames.
That's right.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm getting crazy.
We like to have fun on this show.
Now, is this the best show you ever had? Like, am I personally the best guest ever? You can say it. Sarah's pretty good.
Yeah, you're doing a pretty good job.
All right. That's good to know. Thank you.
Oh my God. Denise Pack, we need your help.
You still have to top Nesper, though. I've had Nesper on here already.
Yeah, that's easy. What do you want? I've got
Dan, Tony, and Wade on here.
I have a haunted Mickey Mouse. Okay. There we go. Done.
He's not haunted.
He's not haunted. This is another piece of equipment.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's from EPS. That's from Elite Paranormal Society.
That guy.
Okay.
That guy, Robert Murphy. Well,
the Roberts are equipment makers, apparently.
Yeah.
So have I ever shown you my giraffe leg?
KD just made a REM pod of Robert's doll.
Oh, interesting. No. Okay, first of all, no on the no. Nope. No. I just said no.
Just once. Look at that, Russell. You know how much money I paid for this? People have to appreciate it. It's heavy too.
You're welcome, Wade.
All right, thank you. There you go. Everyone and these people on the side are now a little more fulfilled because they got to see a giraffe leg.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is that what's been lacking?
Type it in, folks. Help me out. All right. Sorry, I'm back.
Hey, there's
Thank you,
Julie.
Julie sent me some amazing sprays, which I've been hosing down with.
Good. Your sprays work.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Yeah. And thank you again, Julie.
Right, Wade?
Yes.
Anybody's got any questions, throw them up in the chat.
Yeah, ask us some questions.
Yeah,
Give us something hard. Come on, Mariah, give us something hard.
She did already.
That wasn't okay. Well,
Yeah. Julie, thank you again. I really, really love my sprays. And they smell amazing too. I'll bring them to Ohio next week. Oh, Mr.
Here's
Pac.
Ernie.
Pac-Man Paranormal on here. We bring the heavy hitters, bro. Okay? Now your show is definitely the best.
Oh, yeah. You got to get Pac-Man Paranormal, Fort Duffield in West Point, Kentucky, and also the Ditto House, the real Ditto House, 1841. Two great locations. And you just honestly to talk to Denise and Ernie Pack and then their friends, the Eskews, Todd and Leanne, you want to have some good Squatch conversations. These are your folks. Like these are the people you talk to. Yeah, and the Eskews, they do the paranormal tour of the Bell Witch Cave. So these are great locations down south, people with amazing souls. These are 4 people you want to know. I'm telling you right now, you want to know them. They are amazing people. So go check it out. Fort Duffield, the real Ditto House, 1841, and the Bell Witch Cave. We don't get paid for those, by the way. We just
answer this question. Let's start with James's question about destroying the mirror at the Hammond house.
Wait, where's James? Where's his question? Did you try?
Right there.
Well, yes, James, we did. I actually did. I had a very interesting experience with that. And I know it's hard because you don't know me. And I don't talk big experiences. I discredit a lot of stuff. It would make Rob rather angry because I didn't usually put a lot of weight behind. Well, get upset with me if I would say this happened, then I go back and talk about it. It would be like, well, it was probably nothing. And he's like, oh my God, don't do that. But that particular, well, first of all, again, the Heyman house, Teresa Holm, like, oh my gosh, Holcomb, like an amazing location owner, an amazing location in Sutton, West Virginia. It's such a personal, that house has got such personal vibes, amazing stories. And the mirror in the hallway on the right at the end of the steps, I believe, James, that is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of Reiki in the mirror where I closed my eyes and I felt like I've never had that feeling before. I felt like I was being pulled actually into the mirror. Like I could have if I would have just touched, I felt like I would have gone right through the mirror. It was a very interesting connection. I actually, Rob, got some pictures. Were you looking
I know, and I'm trying to find them and I can't. I don't know why. Yeah,
it was a very, that was just a really heavy night of some big connections in all sorts of ways. It was just, it's an amazing, if you want that moment to understand how you yourself play a role or can connect with the other side, that's your house. That's your location that you need to spend time in. There's a river that runs right in front of it. So you've got all the amazing elements.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't find that photo. It's such a good photo. Yeah. And the other question, Kit Kat over Oreo. Oreo, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Kit Kat or Oreo?
Kit Kat or Oreo?
Oreo. Not even a thought. Oreo, hands down.
All right. I'm gonna have to agree because I do get sick of Kit Kats.
What do you do?
And Russell, you can just pull the plug on this shit whenever you want, just because I know we're a lot. We're a lot.
Oh well, okay. So I do. What do you do when you have a client who just doesn't follow your advice? Well, Wade, I would be one of those clients. Ask Mr. Stacy Tallage of Ask Stacy Stuff. When somebody is trying to give you an amazing piece of advice to help you rid yourself of something heavy or negative or dark, and you just won't listen, don't give up on them. because they're just not ready. Sometimes the student isn't ready for the answer, right? They're just not ready to make that stop. So
yeah, I'm with you, and I don't really do that. I don't usually go that route. So I am just not quite. Who are your role models outside of? Because don't really have any paranormal celeb role models that I can think of for me personally.
no, I don't have any paranormal celebrities at all.
Honestly, so it'll sound cheesy as shit. I know it, but I was a very, very different person until I met Sarah. Like Sarah had literally given me she threw me a long rope. I was in a deep, deep hole. I mean, she has taught me how to look at life in a very, very different way than I used to. So she would have to be my role model. I've met a kinder, more
it was an hour 26. Can everybody remember that? Hour 26.
You're gonna have to delete this shit, Russell. But I would go with Sarah, and I know it sounds cheesy, but she literally saved my life and literally makes all of this, the whole Get Haunted adventure, worth doing. So there you go.
Aww.
Russ, you muted yourself. I don't know if you know that.
He's like gagging over there.
Yeah,
he's like, I
this
can't.
guy's full of shit.
He doesn't like the answer.
He's like, can you guys hear what the hell he's saying? Like, look at this.
I love that question. But I'm gonna be even cornier because
she's gonna say herself.
No, I am like
my own role model.
No, I am the queen of corny. I am so nerdy when it comes to this. But honestly, the role models for me are, I'm going to be honest, it's every time I get to do an event, and I do about one a month right now. But when I get to do an event, it's watching the newer investigators, the newer people who are even just the curious, when they come in and they speak up and they push their limit. They push their limit in their fear, or they push their limit of their understanding, right? They admit what they know and they admit what they don't know. They honestly provide, like we follow, we're inspiration. We want to be the inspiration, the motivation, and the encouragement for you. But I don't think that they understand just how much of that they give back to myself personally. Because I didn't always open my mouth about a lot of this stuff. In fact, that's a very new thing for me. I did not share, for a lot of reasons. And I wasn't bullied, or nobody was like, squashing me down with it. It just didn't feel like I had that comfortable space to do it in general. So when you see somebody that comes, when like Brandy from ISS, an older woman comes by herself, just came by herself to explore. And by the way, didn't want us to be around her. She was just like, I'm just going to be on my own the whole time.
I had a friggin' scooter, and then she disappeared. It was, sorry, loved her, but we had to hunt her down.
Yeah, but that's inspirational to me. So I think the role models I see are people who are willing to use their voice. I was not always confident in using Lady on a Scooter.
Ma'am on a scooter.
That's ma'am on a scooter. That needs to be a shirt. I did not always use my voice as much as, people might not believe that, because, I do a show, but I didn't use my voice for many, many years in every area of my life. So when you watch people walk into these situations and they use their voice, it's inspirational to me. So those truly are my role models.
Well, but she has no problem saying, Rob, use your words. Russell, you want to piss me off ever? Say that to me. Use your words. Like, what? What'd you just say?
Well, once in a while, I got to keep you humble, right? I got to.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
Ma'am on a scooter does need to be a shirt. It's going to happen. We'll sell two.
That's happening. Yeah, that's got to happen. Ma'am on a scooter. Best story.
So our friend Brandy that she's talking about just disappeared in a building in Indiana State Sanatorium on a scooter. Just gone. It's like 2:45. It's time to go.
Well, I think we need to tell the story honestly, though, because she really, from the very beginning, she was very open and honest. She was not interested in our first half of the night,
No,
and we
she
were
was,
okay with that.
yeah.
And so she was doing her own thing, and so we did our first half of the night with the guest, and then everybody gets free roam, right? So now it's getting to be that time, and I don't think anybody was thinking like, "Wow, we haven't seen Brandy, we haven't seen Brandy for a while." So I was like, you know what? Should we maybe make sure Brandy's okay? Because there's several buildings to ISS, right? So we're like, we need to make sure Brandy's okay.
Yeah. So we
That
go
you
on
can
a
finish.
hunt. And Trevor, if you met Trevor at MSP, he's insane. Like literally has more energy.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. That kid,
Yeah.
we love Trev.
That's
We
why I
love
gave
Trev.
him the gas chamber there. I'm like, that dude can go all night. He's like the Energizer Bunny,
that
right?
dude beat us up the hill from the gas
Yeah.
chamber. I was looking at him. He's flying by me. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. So Trevor's running through these buildings and he can't remember her name. So he's just, all we hear him is yelling, ma'am on a scooter. Ma'am on a scooter. So that's where that whole thing came. I'm sorry. For everyone else, believe me, that shit was funny.
Oh, it was
You had
I
to
mean,
do it.
the walking a building and we all, because she's not he's like, he comes run, he's like, I'll run in, and he runs into the building and he comes running out. He's like, because she had set up home base for herself, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, her flashlights, her equipment, her glasses, they're all sitting in her home base, and she's not there. Yeah, so we all, of course, there's tons of us. We're like, okay, so we all split off, right? We're all like, and you just hear him running. You could just hear him, ma'am, and his most lovable Southern accent, ma'am, on a scooter. Listening to that throughout like, it was the best, and all of a sudden you just hear her. You hear the scooter coming down the hallway. She was off in a part of the building that we were like, how did you even get there? What were you thinking? She just was having the time of her life.
And yes, you do sign waivers when you come to our event. Don't worry about it. You have to. So yeah,
Denise did
we
become
were
a manhunt.
worried. I did not. I haven't lost anybody yet, and I was a little concerned that night, especially when Trevor's like, her glasses are there, and I'm like, holy shit.
Oh my god, it was a ma'am.
Well, Russell, thank you so much for allowing this insanity of a show to happen tonight.
You're welcome.
He's like, we kind of take over wherever we go.
It's all about you guys. So,
has anybody been locked in a cell?
No, that's bad news when that happens. Yeah, and for those on the side, if you, since Russell is not putting up the links to my shit, this our shit, right? Come to the, just look for Get Haunted. Look for Get Haunted and Paranormally Blonde. Give Sarah a sub. She's been hosting a show for 32 years and only has like 25 subscribers.
I'll tell you what, share them on my group page.
We're gonna.
It's true. I've struggled for the last 5 years, but that's okay. It's not about the numbers for me, honestly. It's about the connections. It is. But I do want to state, since we've got a little bit of an audience here, you do want to we want to tune in this Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time to Paranormally Blonde and the Get Haunted main page on Facebook, because we have an amazing guest. His name is Michael David Riley. And for anybody that does have a business in the paranormal, really doesn't even have to be the paranormal, but if you have a business in spirituality, paranormal, a team, or a show, this is your guy you're going to want to listen to. He has amazing tips and tricks and help to get your branding out there.
He's not in the paranormal, but and here's the little secret that he shared with us. The algorithms have switched, right? So where you used to see just the big company, the bigger companies, the Coca-Colas. the ghost gears, right? Where you would see those. Now the algorithms are in the favor of the small business, and this guy's not a paranormal guy, which is another reason I love him. He's going to throw some big tips out there to help you. And it doesn't mean you have to be selling anything, right? If you want to promote your brand or your team or whatever, he's gonna throw some tips out there for everybody.
Please saying that.
What?
But yeah, it's gonna be a really great show, I think, because sorry, it's getting to be that time of the night. But it's going to be a great show because he will even be the first one to tell you he gives away the farm because he just does. And so you're going to want to check this out if you're looking to help your numbers and elevate your team. Because look, as much as I think social media has kind of squelch some of the stuff in paranormal, the reality is it is an amazing way for us to all get out there together and grow, right? And so here is somebody that is willing to take the time, and we're so excited to add him to the network and help the network. This is something that was sort of given to us, like brought our way, and now we want to bring them your way. So we're going to all be
us. Let's be honest. Somebody was like, "You're doing this," and I was like, "Okay,
we're doing it." But it's good. It's a good force. So we're super, super excited. And yes, Denise Peck, please, guys, go check out The Haunting of Fort Duffield on Facebook. Please, they do have a website, correct, Rob? They have a website?
No. So we paused it last night, Sarah.
You paused. Okay, well, I didn't know. I didn't know they paused it.
No, I'm in the middle of redesigning and making it almost as slick as my fresh new hair.
Your new hair? Your new haircut. I love it.
Thank you, Damien.
I love it. So yeah, let's plan a big, like a mass, like intro to Fort Duffield. Like, let's all go check it out. Yeah. West Point, Kentucky. You're going to want to go check it out.
Yep. I'll probably be down there soon now.
And
I'm practicing my accent.
I don't like that one. You're going to have to try another one. But, yeah, it's not just ghost folks. You get an amazing Squatch experience. So there are some amazing things that you can do at this location. And if you haven't ever been interested in Squatching, I just happen to be that person that loves the aesthetic of Sasquatch and Bigfoot. My Jeep's decked out in him. But I will tell you, meeting the packs, meeting the Eskews, their passion and their experience and their knowledge of Squatching is amazing.
Leave my twang alone, Denise. Okay.
Yeah, right, Denise. It's not. No, you gotta. You know what you kind of are bringing. You're sort of bringing deliverance with that.
Look, if you're going south, you got to go big, right?
Next, you're gonna banjo, like the creepy banjo deliverance.
I can do.
Thank you, Russell. Right?
I have a banjo somewhere. I get it.
Bye, Adam. Thank you for coming.
Listen, kid, stop it, Jesus. Oh wait, he's not talking about me. All right, everyone. Look, Tracy's a Yankee with a twang. So there you go.
Okay, but I doubt Tracy sounds like deliverance. There's something about I think it's when it's this weird swagger you get, and then you like, and I don't like. You're gonna have to practice something.
Why don't y'all come down there?
No, that's not it either.
Is it that part?
Yeah, it might be that part. See, Russell's not feeling it either.
Russell,
not too much of the Jersey accent.
From New York, man. Like, what do you know?
Oh, but I got more of a country accent because I wasn't born in the city part. I live in the country.
All right. Well, look. Now listen here.
No,
that doesn't work.
That's not. No, that's not it either.
Yeah.
That's, by the way, when he does that voice, that's supposed to be me. Yeah. That's his imitation of me.
All right, just saying.
A tweaker, a twerker, a tweaker, or a twerker.
Damien, we're gonna have to have a talk.
Yeah, you may have.
We love it. Ernie's giving you private lessons.
Yeah, I did. I have videos from Ernie. All right.
Harry Potter.
It's getting late. These people.
He said he had a 2-hour show.
Oh, it's 2 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours. I'm actually covering another spot because
Oh, I mean, that would have been nice if you let me know.
He did. He said it right on the show.
Oh, but before the show, I would have canceled. I'd have been nope.
He needs to work on his Southern accent.
All right, so we need what? What do we need? Another 20 minutes. What do you want to know? What do you want to see? I have fossils.
No, we're not. It's not show and tell. Does anybody have any great questions on the side?
Carol, what part of Jersey are you from? I'm from Madison. Just saying. All right, good. We like this, Tracy. Yeah, what was your question, Russell? Did you have one?
no, I didn't have one.
Oh, okay. That's good. Burger King. There you go.
Russell, he's just
yeah, fuck it. No, the show's over, bro. You want me to come up with the questions?
Scooter lady, don't send her at Waverly. You probably
she'll be all right. She'll be all right.
Wait, Hooter lady.
Scooter.
Oh, Scooter lady.
Wow.
I was like, I wonder what that's all about. Okay. Questions, Denise? There's not something you just always wanted to ask? No, James, this year we are not going to be at the bash, but we fully support the PA Wounded Warriors and Dana's Pink Wishes. But yeah, this year we won't be making it, but we support all of our friends, families, and all of you in the community that we don't know that will be there. That is for sure.
If you go to gethaunted.com, we have a haunted boutique.
Tracy, here, I think I can do this here.
You got booted for the call? What you talking about? We can post here. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry.
You guys can tap.
I forgot. I thought I was just a low level guest.
No.
Yeah, so the cult thing. There you go. Well, thank you, Tracy. Yeah, we make all our own merch. I have a face tattoo right here for you. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I had those made because I was going to wear them I'm a cheer mom, right? I was a cheer mom for 4 years. Well, more than that, but 4 years on the high school level. And so wearing the face tattoos were all about it. So I had them made, and I was told I wasn't allowed to wear them at events.
Well, because I didn't think you'd put it on your face.
Yeah, that's okay.
Those, man, we got a bunch. How about this? So, are you still in Jersey? You're in Bergen County, you said? Are you coming to the Supernatural soiree? That's the big question.
October 26th.
Carol. Oh, you're near the GWB. So yeah, October 26th, we have the Supernatural soiree. If you go to supernaturalsoiree.com, that is Get Haunted and Ghosted Magazine hosting a big ass Halloween party on the battleship, the haunted Battleship New Jersey in Camden.
Yeah.
Denise, first of all, I don't know, and we will have the amazing Pax and the SQs there. All the Nesper guys are coming. We've got Patty Negri there that night. We've got they admitted it. Josh and Shane from 28 Days.
They admitted it. They admitted it.
They admitted it. You know what I'm saying? They announced it. Admitted it's probably.
Listen, and the cool thing about this whole Supernatural soiree, this is really an amazing moment for the community to come together and just remember we're all alive and human, and we'd like to have a good time and set aside any kind of warring views, right, or opinions, and just remember, we all like to get together. So if you're a paranormal lover or a horror movie lover or a Halloween lover or just a party lover, this is the location for you. This ship is huge. We've got huge. We have roaming actors coming. It sort of think this is sort of how I feel like the vibe is going. it's sort of like, think American Horror Story party. It's very cool, very
Yeah.
sexy. Roaming actors, fire dancers, cash bar will have a dance floor. There's going to be a tent that is 12 vendors. They're handpicked. We're trying to get a really good variety. So you're not just going to walk into a tent of all candle makers, but different vendors with different things to offer you. So when you walk into the party, you're going to walk through that tent and get to meet everybody. Robert Walsack will be there. Of Ghost Gear. So, and then you're going to be on this incredible ship with some incredible sponsors that I cannot wait to announce. So we've got incredible sponsors. We've got like all sorts of cool things planned. So it's just a good way to kick off fall, I think. Right. Yeah. So supernatural soiree.
It's going to be good, yo.
Yeah.
DJ, music, bar, Epic Box. So I don't know if Rob's still here, but it's basically Tracy. It is a yes no kind of box, yes no type of thing. It belongs to Sarah. I just happen to have it, so I'm not exactly
so
sure, what triggers it.
Yeah,
but it is. I've seen had some really interesting results. This is a newer one. This is the version 2, I believe, and it talks. So it says yes or no. Sometimes
it's awesome.
Based on your involvement with the paranormal, what's one thing you would like to be known for, Sarah? What would you like to be known for?
You know what? Honestly, if nothing else, if I had to walk away today, I hope that even if it was one person, that they felt encouraged instead of discouraged from anything that I have done. And I know, saying that, there's probably a few people out there that would say I discourage them, but again, I think the general vibe I would want somebody to walk away with, if we're not, my saying for Paranormally Blonde is, don't be a dick. Really, in the end, just don't be a dick.
That's sure it's available.
That shirt is available. But it really is just, I hope that I'm known for being encouraging, for using your voice, if nothing else, to use your voice in a positive way, not in this negative bullshit way.
Right.
Yeah.
Rob?
God, I don't know. Like, for me, if we've bridged any connections, like, and open doors, kind of what I want, like I said, if I'm gone tomorrow, if people are like, and we have seen this a little bit, we've help inspire, like Next of Kin Paranormal, like they're a father-son team that would come to our events, but we're like, we encourage them. We're like, guys, you guys, and they went and started their own team. And now they're out there killing it. And you met them, Russell, at MSP, and they're co-hosting with us. Like, if that's what I'm remembered for, and for making Sarah pretty cool, like, so those two things.
Well, I can tell you, I'm not as cool as some. And I'm okay. I'm very okay with that. If I'm nerdy or I am dorky, it just is who I am. If you watch our lives, you'll know that I have a tendency to say things the wrong way. You know what? It is who I am, and I'm going to keep it pretty real. I think I can't pretend. I know sometimes we get questioned if we are truly this nice. Does that mean we're nice to everybody? Do we love everybody? No, we don't. We don't love everybody. We don't like everybody. But what I will say is, even with that whole situation, we would never stop or get in the way of somebody having their space and what they want to do. So yeah, and I think that's where we really lost some things. Just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you need to knock them out of the picture. There's plenty of space. The world's pretty freaking big. So yeah.
I'll butt somebody's ass. I don't care. Get in my way, son.
Yeah, right. And that's why we love Denise, though. This is one reason why I love Denise and Ernie.
Denise
Don't
can
mess
fight.
with the packs.
Denise will get out of a truck.
She will get out of a truck.
Sarah's shirt. There's the B for Paranormally Blonde.
Did you see my new design though?
Which one?
I have a new design. I put it on a post that said "Don't be a dick." I made that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing.
So I'll have to get my shirt made.
Have our new cult leader stickers. Boom.
I saw you had those at the prison. I saw those.
I didn't have
Russell's
these
like,
there. No, these were not there. I just got these.
I bet
Your picture on there.
you had you've had those for a while. You've had those for a while. I don't know if you had the stickers. Did he have what did he have?
Not these. I didn't even make these. These were made on the way to the prison. So
because you had to have your picture taken while you were there.
On the road. I think Wade does it or Dan.
Maybe I saw it on Facebook. Could have been or something. Those pictures.
There you go. Yeah.
You're on my case, Sarah. But not me. I would never put a sticker of myself on anything.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, remember, nobody even wanted the sticker of me. They all want your sticker, the wanted sticker. They're all like pre-ordering of mine. You were trying to give away for free, and nobody even took it, so you had to put it on your case.
No, I have plenty. Well, I have a few left.
Look at Tracy's making a shopping list. Yeah, we love that.
The merch is really where it's at for us. We love doing merch, so we have what it's called the Black Tea Society, and every month we put out a new kind of paranormally themed shirt that's not Get Haunted branded. I'll get you one of hers, Tracy. I got a bunch of those sitting around. But we have the Black Tea Society. We just do cool shirts. We did Haunts for the Homeless charity hoodies this year. We did all the Nesper Paracon shirts.
Do you just have clothes laying on the floor? Is he picking that stuff up off the floor?
Yeah, man. No, I have there's a crate here. Lady, okay. Calm down.
He's just picking stuff up on the floor. It's like they're inside out. That's
shirts. I have Pinhead sitting here. Yeah.
He likes show and tell, Russell. This is the part of the show you can tell where this is when we usually cut them off.
There's a box of stuff. Okay, here's one of my paintings.
It's not a black crate, Ernie. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that is cool.
He's very talented.
Very talented in many, many ways. You know what I'm saying? I'm just killing this. I'm killing it right now. What else? No, Ernie, but I did get my two new crates in, so I'm happy.
What are some of the events you guys got coming up?
Wow. I like that. Go ahead.
We do. We have some great events coming up. This coming Friday, we have Fairfield County Infirmary in Lancaster, Ohio. That is June 29th. And then after that, we have...
Stop. That's Sarah's birthday. So we will be pausing the event at midnight to celebrate Sarah turning 63 years old.
Just a young 63, actually 53. That's okay. That is June 29th, July 13th. We have a really cool event at McClay Mansion, and that's in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is that the capital of Pennsylvania, by the way?
It is. It is.
It is. It's the capital of Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. McClay Mansion, that is a past to present investigation. That is also going to be hosted by one of our Merc teams called Empty Casket with Bill and Tanya. And they're going to take you through some spiritualism all the way up to more modern techniques of investigating. So it's a great, well-rounded. Also on July 20th, we do have New Egypt, but that is sold out. That one sold out because last New Egypt had such great experience with the group that they all, like, as soon as that opened up, they all wanted to go back together and see with that group of people. This is what's really cool about the Get Haunted events. Not everybody knew everybody, but they made a solid connection that night, and they had some very big experiences, and they want to see if they can recreate that. And then July 27th, Old Franklin County Jail in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, which is pretty cool. August 3rd is the Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York. And that one is going to be this is a very specialized event. That one's going to be an old-fashioned slumber party, sort of taking us all back to why, when we were kids, what sort of got the chills going, what we really love. So Bloody Mary, Light as a Feather. But then we'll do some investigating, and some snacks and some jammy time. It's going to be fun. It's kind of getting us all back to letting go of some of the big things that we've attached to ourselves, and the things that we can do and sort of remember a simpler time. So super excited about that one. And then August 17th, we're heading, we have two events. We have Billy Creek Village in Indiana. That's in Rockville, Indiana. Incredible Civil War town. If you haven't been, it is close to Indiana State Sanatorium. Incredible location. We're going to be doing that location for the first time as Get Haunted. And that same night, we also have White Hill Mansion, and that's in Fieldsboro. Okay. Yeah, Fieldsboro, New Jersey. That's always a fan favorite. So if you want, get your tickets there. And then that's our summer. Let's just focus on the summer. So we've got it's a really good mix of investigations. So there's something for everybody, or there's a little something each month if you want to try something different. I think we've got a good, well-rounded bunch of events in that.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. And between that, we do all of our crazy shows, and we have some really cool announcements we'll be making soon about some external things that we're involved with. So there's all kinds of cool things happening.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you guys ever need help when you're out in Missouri, holler at us.
You got it, man. And Tracy, yeah, we're slowly creeping south. We ended up kind of creeping more west than south, but once I get my butt down to Kentucky, right? I mean, about as south as we've gone is
West Virginia,
right? Yeah.
Well, North Carolina. I guess that's not.
Yeah, we did North Carolina. We did the Battleship last year. Was that last year?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I know we got to creep faster. We are building our mercenary teams, and that was really kind of the problem, is finding those teams that carry the mission of Get Haunted, and that wants to work with the community, not in front of the community, but exactly with the community. But we are growing them, so we're finding teams down south. We do have some great teams down south, so hopefully we can pick up some more locations.
Yeah, it's hard when you when you run events, busting into a new area right down there. We're gonna have to duke it out with like the Wraith Chasers and those guys. They have an established footprint. It's a little hard, and just so everybody knows, I want to hear it. Like, our events are a little pricier than most, right? But trust me, like, you get what you pay for. Part of it's by design. I don't do $50 events. Why? Because I don't want everybody with an extra $50 to burn after the bar showing up at our events trying to get into a haunted location. We bring food, we bring everything, I'm there. Like, that's
there's Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Where is Tracy?
Tracy's South Carolina.
Okay. Tracy, listen, I'll put the feelers out. I'll do a post for you. And because there are, between Mark Brown, we got Southern Heat, there are people down south that might be able to point you in the right direction if we can. That's how we network, Tracy. So we'll put that out there for you. Yeah.
And we hit our hour mark. I thank you guys for joining us. And if they want to get a hold of you guys, how can they get in touch with you to book you for events? And
The easiest way, gethaunted.com, or find our crazy asses right here on the book of faces. We do a Instagram and all that other fun stuff that I don't look at. We've got
Yeah, come to the main page, Get Haunted main page, and the Get Haunted public network page.
No.
Come there. We will direct you.
all right. I thank you guys again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Russell.
Thanks for having us, buddy.
Oh, you're welcome. And we'll stay in touch, and I'll see you guys in September.
Yes,
Sounds good.
We're probably coming out early. We're going to do some investigating of Gettysburg. So.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Nice to meet you, Mariah. We hope to see you.
Yeah,
see more of you.
Thank you all. You guys were awesome. Denise, I love you. Ernie, you're all right.
All right, and there won't be a show next week because we're at the Crypticon event in Kansas City. So they got a big
Have a good one.
Convention, so it's going to be a fun one.
Awesome. Good luck with it.
Julie are going to be out there, hang out with some of the famous actors, like Jason Voorhees and Leatherface.
Oh, we just met him.
Did you?
Well, we don't know which Leatherface he's meeting. Is it Bob?
Is it Bob with the beard?
It's from the newer versions of Texas.
Okay. Not as great Leatherface. I don't know. I didn't even know.
He's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Oh,
that we met. That's who we met, Bob.
He was super cool, but he's Leatherface.
I met Chop Top from 2.
You know who I met? Tony freaking Bennett. All right.
Russell, you need to end this show because
end it. Bro. I met Tony Bennett for real.
It was nice to meet you, James. Good night, Tracy.
Now listen here.
Okay, no, seriously.
Yeah.
It's time to cut it.
We're gonna cut it.